That's for the
All right, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Teen Talk Live. I am your host, Ann Dillard, and I am so glad to be coming to you this evening because I'm especially glad because I have some special friends who are joining us for this conversation this evening. And I want you to help me to welcome the Shaletti family. These are longtime friends. The parents have been longtime friends of ours, and we go all the way back to Minnesota. It's so ironic because when we scheduled this interview, we are gonna talk about how this amazing family is thriving during COVID-19, and now we have some additional uh, information that we'll talk about too in light of everything that's going on with the race relations in Minnesota and across the country. So help me welcome Ms. Tanya Shaletti and her family. Welcome, Tanya. So can you
Thank
guys hear
you.
me? Okay,
Glad to
awesome. I just want to go around and introduce yourselves and tell everybody your name and how old you are.
Hi,
Not
I'm
mom.
Des.
Mom, you don't have to do that. Sorry, Dazzy.
the 29. Oh,
Hi, I'm Des. I'm 19.
Hi, I'm Matthew. Yeah, and I'm 12. Almost turning
Awesome.
13.
oh, almost
Wow,
30.
13.
And I'm
Awesome. Wow. Well, it's amazing to me because I remember these young people when they were, just a whole lot younger. So it's so good to see them. So Tanya, talk to us a little bit about how your family was impacted by COVID-19 and sheltering in place. And I know there are other family members as well, but sheltering in place and now bringing distance learning into the home and all the other stuff that had to take place. Just give us a little insight on your family.
yeah. So COVID-19 hit. We immediately had to make the school adjustments, of course, for Matthews in elementary and Kalila's in middle school. So it was a lot of transition because they had to now become homeschooled and they were in two different schools. So just learning, the teachers was trying to learn as they go how to adjust as well, and the schools were trying to adjust as best as they could. Um, I was laid off. It was great. Well, I mean, it was bad, but it was good that I was able to be there to help them transition to homeschool because I'm not sure how that would have happened if I was still working the hours I was working, and my husband's hours changed as well. He ended up working more outside of the house. Then Desmond was actually living in the dorms. Desmond and our other son, DeForest, they were living in the dorms. So that was a transition getting them back home. Transition. We had to become kids again in the house. There's different rules than in college, and then it's the shelter in place. So not only were they back at home, they also had to be at home because there was nowhere to go. That was a tough transition for them, being on their own and coming back. Um, and then that was that took a long time because then they were also doing homeschool as well or online school. So their schools also had to adjust to homeschooling. So I had to we had to get increased internet speed. It's like we didn't have enough bandwidth at all to do all the work. So we did that, and it was nice. So one thing about them, all of them are very creative. So that's Desmond's an English major in college and a writer, and Matthew and Kalila are in the entertainment industry, and Matthew is also an artist as well. So that's how they came up with the idea of the magazine. They were working together. Um, they had some projects to do at school, so
Yeah.
just putting it all together was like, might as well, my husband and I were entrepreneurs as well. So that was just an opportunity, like we could just put something together using everybody's talents and interests and,
Right.
you know, monetize it or at least spread the word. Because one thing we promote literacy here as well. So the magazine also promotes, we were saying promote literacy because with having young kids, we're always trying to find something interesting for them to read, just to keep them interested in reading. And it's harder not in the school where we have access to the school library. It was just something we were doing anyway, looking for literature that would keep their
Yeah.
interest in.
Right.
So they took
And
it from there. That's
that's amazing because, and I'm gonna let you and whoever want to introduce the magazine, I'm gonna let you all, one of you introduce the magazine, because I've watched your kids or young people, and they are all so creative, also talented in their own rights. And I can just imagine the challenges coming home after, kind of emancipating the college and then having to come home and stay home. So Des, tell us a little bit about that transitional time for you.
Um, well, so I mean, well, because my school, we were on spring break when the news about COVID kind of came out. So the original plan for my school was, okay, students will return and then we'll just have a week of online classes in the dorms. I was staying on campus for spring break anyways. But then a couple days into spring break, we get this email that's like, you guys have to move out within the next 48 hours.
Wow.
And so I called my mom and I was like, yeah, you have to come get me from school. And just, it was pretty tough because, yeah, coming from being completely on my own, independent, stuff like that, and then having to come back um, and,
chores.
readjust.
With chores
Yeah,
and
right. But I mean, it the online schooling was probably one of the harder parts about it because my school actually didn't offer Zoom classes like other schools did. So we didn't have face-to-face lectures over the computer or anything. My professors, they would kind of just put a post on the classroom or whatever, and you just have to kind of figure it out. They did offer a couple of tools like online tutoring, which really helped. But other than that, it was pretty hard.
wow, I can only imagine that's difficult. So were you able to stay, have like a chat forum where you could stay connected with your classmates?
There were a couple teachers who did use that tool where it was like a discussion post and we were required to discuss for a few assignments. But as time went on, a lot of the professors at my school actually, I mean, I hate to say it, but they became lazier than the students. And it really showed because they weren't putting in effort into actually teaching us anything. It was kind of like learn it yourself. And uh, you'll get a grade. Like I know for a couple of my classes, they only gave us grades. Like they gave the whole class a grade because she wanted to be done with grading,
Wow.
not because she actually cared if we were learning or not.
Wow. Well, I
Yeah.
hope certainly that's unfortunate, but I hope you did get a huge refund for that semester. at least, right? So Matthew, how was it for you being home and doing distance learning?
Uh, Kind of hard because I thought when I woke up I have no school, so I wanted to play outside, but then I had to do work until I had to do work until 3 o'clock, and then I had to do my homework after that, so it was really hard.
Yeah, because your brain's telling you you're home, you need to be playing, right?
Yeah, his school was already, they already were in Google Classroom pretty heavy. So their
Okay.
transition was pretty easy for moving into online. But for the kids, they didn't have as many uh, recesses, and they do a lot of interactive learning. So it
Mhm.
was just different for him because they didn't have the hands-on that he's used to. So, but
Wow.
they had the same hours sitting on Zoom classroom. That was tough.
So he had to be
So,
there
but
literally till 3 o'clock every day.
oh yeah, they had how many Zoom classes you had a day? Like
5.
he had he had different hours. He had to log into different classrooms. So that was keeping up with the passwords and the links. That was just a lot of work.
Wow. Wow.
It
That's
was a lot of work.
incredible.
After a couple of weeks,
Yeah, that
after
sounds a lot.
it was a lot of work because he wasn't interested in it. And then the kids they figured out how to
But they had
to chat and play on different
Zoom.
having separate Zoom classrooms so they can talk to each other. And teachers had to figure out how to monitor the kids.
We made our Zoom parties.
They made Zoom parties on the side trying to misbehave.
No, we didn't.
Sounds like they were being very creative. So Kalila, just a little bit, tell me, how was it for you?
So for like my school, we didn't do Zoom. We did Teams on Microsoft, and we had like different subjects every day instead of like
Mhm.
ELA one day, then math the next, and so on. And then like we didn't they the teachers didn't teach us anything. They just gave us like videos to like and worksheets to do. So it was like frustrating because I they didn't like help us or anything when I needed help. We just
They
had
had
to
Yeah.
office hours.
Wow, that
and like
sounds really challenging.
also and then when I wanted help, I like not the teacher couldn't get to everyone since there's like 100 people. So on
Yeah,
the teams. So
Wow, that sounds
yeah,
frustrating. So, Mom, you had to pick up a lot of that slack, didn't you?
yes, that was a lot of work.
Wow.
Keeping up because I think they gave them a lot of assignments, thinking they had a lot of time, but every class had multiple assignments because they thought, oh, today the whole day is science, they can do science all day, but it piled up. By the end of the week, they had a lot of work. So
Wow. That's incredible. Oh my goodness. So then Desi, tell me about
yes,
how
let's take a break.
creative
But
your family
it
got
was
in
it
the
was a lot of work. I think now that they took a survey and
Okay. I think you guys were a little frozen. Tell me about the survey.
oh, the schools took a survey, so because I think they're planning on doing some kind of blended learning next year, and they, took feedback to say what worked and what didn't work. So I think they're going to brainstorm to see what they're going to do next school year. But I don't think they're going back 100%. I believe
Yeah.
they're talking about doing like I don't know, a rotational days, or maybe only go a couple days a week. But
Right. Wow.
it would be interesting how it would work.
Yeah, yeah, it will be interesting because I think about the families who don't necessarily have a mom at home who can give their
Right.
undivided attention, or a parent for that matter, who can give their undivided attention to the learning process.
Yeah, or families that we have the computers. There's families that have to share the computer or have Wi-Fi problems. So I mean, we were fortunate to be able to everyone had their own space,
Yeah,
but I know people had to share spaces and
yeah,
computers.
it's challenging. So Desi, tell me about how creative your family got in this time. And I know you all created a product, so introduce your product and tell us a little bit about it.
All right, so our product is Turnip Juice Magazine.
Yay!
Right now, we just released our first issue, and it kind of started, I'd say like a month or so before the end of the school year. We kind of were just, well, me and my mom, we were just sitting down brainstorming and, just talking about creatives. I was telling her about like some of my writing and stuff. And uh, we just kind of, I mean, it was like, because they're models, I write, we have another brother, he makes music. So we just figured, we want to not only promote that, but promote other youth uh, that aspire, to be, heard or seen or whatever, entrepreneurs. So we wanted to kind of promote that among the youth. So we kind of just started reaching out to people asking for submissions, and we actually got a lot more than we anticipated. So it was really easy. Um, but we were trying to decide, what we wanted to make this issue about. And we decided that we would tribute it to the class of 2020 because of COVID-19, and they didn't get a normal graduation or a normal end of the year prom, anything like that. So we figured, since we were gonna plan on releasing it, around that time, we might as well tribute it to them. And yeah.
That sounds exciting. So Kalila, what was your contribution to the magazine?
Um, my contribution was like it was to how to put it. Yeah, like all the different layouts of the pages, and also like I did tennis the um because the what is her name?
Okay, talking about
The cover of the magazine. She's a tennis player, and she's also
That's the 2020
2020 class of 2020. And I did like how to play tennis and stuff, like in order for that.
Oh, that sounds exciting. Matthew, how about you? What was your contribution to the magazine?
I edited. Uh, I made some. I edited some of the photos on the tennis photo. The tennis one where she. What's her name? The girl who's
Mackenzie.
I edited Mackenzie's photos. That one, and I showed. In the magazine I showed my clothing.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
his clothing lines.
Okay, and tell us about your clothing line. What's the name of your clothing line?
Dior.
Dior, D-E-O-R. Awesome. And I know your sister models your clothing too, right?
Yes.
Oh, that's exciting. That's exciting. So I'm just really excited to see how you all came together as a family. and pull this off, and everybody was able to contribute. Actually, it seemed like that should be the project that you get a grade for.
Yeah.
Right?
Was-
Because go ahead, Desi.
Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, you know, it was a lot of like me and my mom like staying up, you know, trying to, you know, put everything in order and make sure that everything was just very precise to publish. And especially with the cover and the layouts, Cookie really did help a lot with the layouts, kind of, you know, making that look like how a magazine should look, because she's been in magazines before, so she kind of helped a lot with that.
That's
Yeah, I think
awesome.
Des give me a little bit too much credit. I just kind of, I think Des is, since he's very interested in writing, he does a lot of the editing and making it flow and sound okay. I'm a numbers person, so I just figured out how to get it distributed. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to get my copy. Yeah, I can't wait to get my copy.
Did you get a PDF or you got a physical copy?
The online version. I think it's the online version.
Oh, okay, I'll send you. I can
Okay.
send you a link. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Thank you for the opportunity to write about children coping, or teens coping, teens and children coping with COVID-19, their mental health state during COVID-19. That was really interesting to write that article for it. So
Yeah.
what? Yeah, when I think about you all coming together and do this, and a lot of bonding taking place and things like that, what do you have any tips for families? Because you know we're still on quarantine in most places. So do you have tips for families on things that they can do? I know, Matthew, you've been learning some interesting things, so maybe you can share some of the tips of some of the things that you've been learning to help families during this time in their bonding and getting through the boredom.
What I did, most of the things I've been doing is practicing skateboard tricks and watching movies on Netflix and watching the #1 movie on Netflix.
What's the #1 movie?
He just looks for what movie is trending as #1.
For right now, I'm watching The Flash.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. But skateboard tricks, that sounds really good. I'm sure you might have a video somewhere that we can check out, right?
On my channel, it's when I was skateboarding with this.
Yeah.
They have a YouTube channel that we can post.
Yeah. He has a skateboard. I just bought my skateboard because of him, actually. I was riding on his skateboard for a while, but he's been, you know, showing me tricks and stuff. So I was like, well, I got to get my own board. And yeah, it's fun. We've been
They've been
skateboarding.
outside. Matthew has also got a hammock to go outside, and there's a fishing area out there. So they try to be more outside during this quarantine. So they don't have to be inside, but just outside getting fresh air away from still social distancing from kids, but still being active. That's what we try to make them do.
That sounds creative. And what have you done, Kalila?
I've been also sometimes I skate around the golf course and stuff with them too. I wasn't in that video though. And I also like we play like different board games and like Monopoly, and like games on the Xbox, PS4. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we play.
And Sims, Fortnite.
Yeah, we try to get together. I know they can get into video games. We try to get together and do board games. Um, I like Monopoly. Then we teach about mortgages.
My favorite is Phase 10
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's
play
just
cards.
it's very competitive.
Yeah.
So it's fun. And then also we usually do it 2 nights. We go to Phase 5 and then wait the next day to go to Phase 10.
Yeah.
So that's
It's
not
too
as long because I can't do long games.
Oh, okay. I never
actually
learned
been
how
nice.
to never learned how to play Phase 10. I have it, but I never learned how to play it.
It's really
So-
fun.
Yeah,
It takes a long to just kind of break it up.
that's
But
amazing.
it's really it's fun to have them around. And then we also try to cook, or everybody is learning how to cook more dishes. So that's also, I try to teach that because, and if, that was just an opportunity to have the college boys back so they can learn how to cook as well. Because they're grown essentially, but not grown.
Right. Grown, not
They're
grown.
learning.
I like that.
They still
Right.
need us. But it's been
Absolutely.
great to spend more time with each other. It has been.
That is awesome. And so, as we're getting ready to wind down our talk this evening, but I can't leave without just asking you, how have you been impacted by the events that's happening in our hometown of Minneapolis, the racial events that's happening? If you can just share with us just a little bit about how have you been impacted and how are you coping during this time?
For me, it's hard because I have a lot of friends and family still there, and I know that had I been there, I would be there, like helping or at least there. It's hard being here and can't do anything. Um, it's just not the same if I went out in Atlanta to protest or anything. I don't. It's not the same because because Minneapolis was a community that we were in. So it's just different seeing our community being changed and affected. So it's tough, but I try to stay in contact and know what's going on and checking on family and friends. But it's pretty tough for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. It's really heavy to deal with, especially just like with social media, being so much, and the news, and it's like there's no really real way to get away from it. So like what I've been doing to cope is really just educating myself, making myself more aware of the topics, and spreading that awareness of it, because there's even like some stuff on social media that you'll see about these events that the news would never tell you, and it, yeah, we lived there, and we have family there, and so I know if I were there, I would definitely be rioting. I would protesting, but yeah.
That's
I
right.
definitely, we do try to keep it. It is a good educational moment for the younger ones as well. No, sorry, it is educational for them as well. It's different because in these school systems here is they don't address racial relations as much as I would have wanted them to. So a lot of it is learning experiences, like some of the stuff they didn't even know about or hear about. I talk about the Black Wall Street and different things that happened in our past that wasn't that long ago. They, school systems here is a little different because they didn't hear a lot of it. But
yeah,
yeah, she literally went to Kalila started school here in Milton, Georgia. That's not what they taught.
Utah.
But Matthew goes to a charter school where it's more diverse, and his teacher is most of his teachers are African American, and they were taught the truth. So he knew a lot about Black history. So, you know, that was a different conversation with him because he was already knew about the struggles of the civil rights movement in school. But it is a teachable moment, and just going day by day, making sure we can filter the information and educate where we can.
Yeah, definitely. And it's definitely a hard time for us as Black moms and dads navigating this the racial tension, or yeah, I think that might be the best word right now. And
Yeah.
trying to in the midst of where the narrative about our identity is so negative, um, helping our children to form their own narrative of who they are, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Controlling the narrative. That's exactly what I'm trying to do.
That's so amazing. And it's so
Mhm.
amazing that your family is together, you all are working together, educating together, and doing things to keep everybody together, creative and abreast of what's going on in society at the same time. So
Mhm.
as we get ready to close, I'm just going to go around and see if there's one thing you want to leave with our audience, either whether it's about the race relations, or about your magazine, or about other things that you have coming up. This is the time that feel free to share that. So I'll start with Desi.
Oh man, pressure. I just like to say, be educated about what you're paying attention to in the news and the media about what's going on, not just race relations, coronavirus too, because even that's still going on. We still haven't even gone over coronavirus, and a race war has basically begun. But that, and to submit to turnupjuicemagazine.com.
All right. Yes.
Mine. I wanna make put my song on Apple Music.
All right. You've got songs on Apple Music, Matt?
Not yet. I'm gonna try to post it on Apple Music
Awesome.
and get out.
All right. Well, we're going to be looking out for that. All right. Kalila?
I want to say go to www.turnupmag. Okay, www.turnupjuice.com and submit.
Awesome.
Scroll down. I said mag.
Okay. But yeah,
Yes. Thank you so
we're
much.
excited. Thanks for having us. We are excited about the magazine, and they've gotten great reviews. And I'll just send you the link, but I can send you the a copy for sure. But
Absolutely.
you can do it on the email.
Mhm. Yeah.
And give us the link again, how we can find this magazine, and tell us the age group that is targeted to.
Turnupjuicemag.com, and the age group ranges from pretty much, what did we say, like 8, I think, 8 to 18. Yeah, the youth.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to drop the link in the comments section. And it has been such a pleasure talking to the Schletti family this evening. Thank you all so much. And thank you for just the amazing things that you're doing, and the contributions that you're making in the world. And I really appreciate you all being on Teen Talk Live with us this evening.
Thank you, and thanks for your contributions. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you everybody for joining us for this episode of Teen Talk Live. Feel free to share and check out the magazine, and I'm going to drop the link in the comment section, but follow these guys on YouTube as well. They're doing amazing things. They're artists, and I'm just so excited to see how God is using them and developing their talent. So again, thank you for joining this episode of Teen Talk Live. Catch you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.